Mic check, mic check. Tell a friend we're live. We're going live very soon. All right. Let's do this. Get the thing open. Let's go there. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And can I quickly make it? Yes. Yeah, look at that. Swift transition. Welcome to the Black Bear broadcast, everyone. For those who are live today and those who will be live later and those who will listen in the future time, maybe very future time, is for you, Black Bearman, to you guys. Know that you're important. All right, cool. So let's go through as we always start. Big up Black people all over the world. Don't forget to follow the Black Bearman Build on Instagram. It's there. I pour way of promotion, and I'm sure you can help to go and follow it. So, retroactive expectations. What are we talking about? We're talking about ancestral obligations, community commitments, and that is remembering the remember the atrocities inflicted upon the ancestors and community in the past and present, and behave in ways that reflects this. Reconnect with Black people locally and globally, and form networks and teach each other about different cultures. Repair the Black community of historical trauma that caused the self-hate challenges and health issues, and rebuild the Black family, Black economics, and Black nations. That's right. Retroactive expectations is remember, reconnect, repair, and rebuild. And that is basically saying that because you're aware your ancestors went through a terrible, terrible, terrible atrocity time, very bad. Why don't we today remember them and do something to recover from that atrocity? Really, that's what this kind of broadcast is about, you know. But the way we do it is by practicing and promoting a lifestyle called Black Betterment. What is that? It's a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. Very simple, but if we practice this, we will see progression. Will we? Yes, we will. So this broadcast promotes that. That's right. That's what we do. That's what we do. There we go. All right. So we sent a link out, and this is obviously a community show. I'm merely just the host, who middle person talking to everyone. But generally, everyone's welcome on it. Every member of the community is welcome on. But when you do, don't forget to practice the 4D values, which are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. We can practice those 4D values. It will make trying to find solutions just that little bit more easier. That's right. That's right. That's right. All right. So don't forget derogatory language. Try to use that if we can. Let's use descriptive language. I know it's hard, but it makes communication just a little bit easy when you're trying to find solutions for the Black community. That's right. Oh yeah. All right. So this is a part 2. Last week we started false accusations against men. There was a sister called, I wrote her name down because my memory is not as good as it used to be. What was her name? Victoria Everest. Yeah. Very troubled individual. And apparently she's gone around, trying to throw men in jail, or ex-boyfriends in jail, because she wasn't best pleased with them, apparently. Allegedly. Oh, not even allegedly. I think she's been charged, so it's just what happened. We heard the video recording. So we're doing a follow-up part 2 because the lady, the madame, went on certain shows, and so we might as well do a part 2. So this show might be long. This show might be a 2-hour show because we're going to be listening. Unless we don't want to do that. But then we also got domestic defense. We discuss how best to live life to better protect you from domestic abuse. Yeah, so that was there's another young lady we reviewed on here one time. There's a video circulating of her being abused. Oh well, we're streaming saying the father of her child has attacked her. Very terrible scenario in general. The lady herself is somewhat problematic in the way she approaches life and social media and stuff. So we'll probably start with that first. But ultimately, the goal is to try to have a dialogue about how best can you defend yourself against domestic violence. I mean, at certain points it's very hard, but there are certain key things you can look out for, if possible. So we might start there. Don't forget, tell a friend we're live. But let's start with, I think I've got like one random video that's constructive, in the sense of we're not trying to build from it. We're embracing it. Where was it? Let's see. I think I downloaded it, but I probably didn't. It's not even there. Hold on. Did I download it? Am I done? I probably am. Is that here? Wait, no, I didn't download it. Oh, why did I download? Huh. Hmm. Oh well, it was something to do with is this one? No, it's not. It was something to do with Ghana, clamping down on false Kente designs and how they're going to enforce making sure you get authentic ones from them. But yeah, download. Oh, there you go. Also, the news, which is I guess good. What's his brother name? Lenny Henry, famous comedian from the UK, probably one of the first black comedians, I would think so, in the UK. I mean, unless there was ones in the black and white TV days. From as I was concerned, he was the most. You're looking at maybe late 70s, late 70s, early 80s when he came on. I know he was a sitcom. I think the first black sitcom in the UK. We should really, we should actually cover some of the first black sitcoms. Maybe like in England, maybe America, and then maybe like the diaspora or the continent. That'd be quite a good show. Like the first black stuff. Maybe do a case study for it to find out, what happened afterwards, and did they do anything community based? Did they go on to marry and the rest of it? Well, fantastic stuff. I'm pretty sure I know the answers, but yeah, that won't be an idea. But anyway, Lenny Henry, what he was saying is, I haven't seen any videos or anything, but apparently he's supporting reparations, which is very big. I suspect that even though I think he might be married twice to two European women, and I know he does a lot of charity work for England and Britain and stuff. I suspect that kind of tone will, despite all that stuff, will make them not displeased. But we'll follow that. That's a very big story. So good incentive there. What else? So that and it's kind of connected, I guess. There's a DJ from BBC. He was kind of since probably even the 70s or 80s. I mean, 80s definitely, but he's old enough to be in the 70s, but I don't know. Well, to be honest with you, no, 70s and hip hop, I don't think England would have really had much. It was definitely the early boom period of the 80s. But yeah, DJ called Tim Westwood, a white guy, he was the biggest DJ. But there's always been rumblings about his abuse of women, and especially in the black community because hip hop, the 80s and stuff. Apparently, I think he's been charged with 4 attempts of sexual assault. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll follow that one. Like, it just came out. I just saw on BBC News on my time. So I think someone said he moved to Nigeria. I don't know, to escape or. And I'm interested in the Nigeria. But I could be wrong. I'm not really in and out of the story. We'll follow that one. So anyway, that is the news. The news over there. Let's move to the first one. So the first one is a late. Now I should have got a name, but I'm a very bad researcher because I'm never sitting still. I'm always rushing around, and I usually sit still as soon as I press play on the stream because I'm bad at what I do. But I'm sure you know this young lady. So we'll look at. I think I've met her kind of. So this is a sister. She's gone on about her abuse of a partner. Let's see if we can find it. Sister, she might break out crying and this kind of stuff. So trigger warning. We want to make sure that we warn you about that. But also, our condolences, our care goes for the sister who's going through something. But once again, these kind of sisters and brothers as well. It's really phenomenal because they kind of live their life on social media. So because to be honest, the average person probably goes through similar, maybe not as similar, I like to think, but who knows, dilemmas. But not everyone's always streaming their life. So there's obviously a profit or a kind of benefit or a therapy to free therapy. I don't know, to a lot of these brothers and sisters to do this, but that's why their business is always out in the media world. I would definitely recommend not to do that. But then, who am I to critique? They're making probably lots of money, so that's what it's about. I assume.
I don't even know where to start.
Her name is Miss R Fabulous. I know she's probably trendy, and everyone knows her. I don't really know. I don't really watch these shows like that, so I wouldn't know. So that's her name.
I actually don't know where to start. So my mouth is proper hurting me because I've got crowns. My brain is throbbing because my crown's cracked. Do you understand? So I've got a mad toothache right now.
Okay, you know when you download from Instagram, they do it in bits. So that's part one. I've got a whole video. I think this is part two. If it's not, I'm sorry, they don't label it because it's just jargon when you download, isn't it?
That every man in Jamaica don't like, because I called him my name, innit? So as I turned around like this to pick up the suitcase, he did this. Boom!
I think she's describing she's in Jamaica visiting her boyfriend, the father of her child. He has other children, and she's the newest girlfriend. And I think they got an argument about who she hangs around with on the internet or something like this. And they argued outside his house, and then I think something happened and he attacked him.
He's gone alive to make it seem like I attacked him. Make it seem like I attacked him first. Then he starts to bring up everything about my family. Every time me and this guy has an argument, he brings up my mum's situation, he brings up Auntie Pat, he brings up everything, my sisters, he throws things in my face. That's why your family don't like you, your dad don't even love you. He throws things in my face, innit? So I'm outside.
Once again, the whole it'd be good if people's entire life wasn't on the internet. But once again, it's new generation. I'm probably old school. I don't know about that.
And I'm putting the stuff in the boot. So as I'm putting the stuff in the boot, I called him my name, like the B word that every man in Jamaica don't like. So I called him my name, innit? So as I turned around like this to pick up the suitcase, he did this. Boom! In my face, like right here. And his dad was holding Miracle, and his dad stood there like this. God strike me if I'm lying. I just remember.
And that's part two. So obviously we don't condone attacking any person generally, but especially women, especially if they're your
and my daughter looking at me.
I'm not okay. You're not sure if you believe her, Africa? Well, I don't know the story because I don't want to judge or anything. I don't know the past background, but I'm aware of the woman who we're covering next, who's talking about men's the men sexually assaulted. There's a high chance she's definitely lying. So this woman, I'm not too sure. But either way, in principle, if she is lying, in principle, men shouldn't attack women, and in principle, women shouldn't lie about being attacked. But if you have any reason to not believe it, let us know. Not that this is about whether someone's truthful or not. This is more about how to defend yourself from it. And I think when the sister talks here, there's a lot about her lifestyle that had she had a more different guidance, the chances of her being around men who do this will be greatly diminished. Trigger warning, obviously, the sister's bawling out on the internet because of the way she's feeling.
I just couldn't believe that this man is doing it.
Obviously, people go through this kind of stuff. If what she's saying is correct, and they might trigger people at home who might be going have family going through abuse. So we're more on the side of protecting women from being abused, regardless of what happened. This has happened or not.
In front of my child, I just couldn't believe it because I'm a protector. You punched me in front of my kid, and your dad held my child, and your dad never told you to stop. I don't care.
So if we're going by this story is true, if a woman's been attacked, especially by your child, the primary thing is to stop it. So if that hasn't gone on, then something's gone wrong in that household, that culture, where that's like a normal thing.
Fuck! I will fight you to the wheel falls off, but not with my child there. Not with my daughter.
If that is true, attacking people in front of children, these are the things that causes trauma, bad experiences. You want to have some kind of pact that you don't fight, and if you do fight, it ain't in front of your kids. But once again, when people get emotional, it's very hard to know.
Standing there with her granddad holding her and watching me get punched in my face. I swear on my life, you would never see my child. And that's one reason why you're not on her birth certificate. You could never fuck with me.
Right, so you got cut there, but let me the last one. But what she said there is very key as well. I guess.
Your name on that birth certificate.
So she's got a child with this gentleman, and in the situation she's in, that it isn't registered that he's the father, which is, these situations you have to review that. Like, why are you in a situation where you don't want to register the father? If you don't feel they're worthy of being registered or worthy of the name or the responsibility or the law given right, then maybe not being intimate with them and having kids with them would be something you should think about. But then, once again, I might be old school. Maybe I'm missing the plot because obviously, I'm from the old time.
For a reason, because I knew if I put your name as her father, you have power against me.
So this is the same sister who got angry at some other woman and started saying vile things about how she would want to attack her child with sexuality and this kind of stuff. And I think she was also on either mocking her mother was mocking her, or they were arguing about their illnesses or this kind of stuff, whatever it is, I don't know. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying about people's emotion and being click driven and growing online and stuff. Um, Maybe it validates people. I don't know, but I would definitely think this is what you shouldn't be putting online. But we're using it as a case study. Uh, so this is now all over the internet. Poor child. Yeah, it's all over the internet. Poor child. And this is what I'm saying about trying to live in a way where you don't create content deliberately that's going to add issues to your children, your parents, your family, if possible. Sometimes you can't help it because cameras everywhere and whatever. But generally, if you're streaming your own trauma and then all that kind of stuff, then it's probably best you don't do that. But once again, I don't know about this kind of stuff. I'm probably the odd one out.
So I never put him on the birth certificate, and he kept telling me change it. I did nothing. I barely talked to this man today. I barely had any words with him today.
The issue with the internet is when you look, if someone hits you, it's true. You've got to report them and you've got to distance yourself, and you should be able. But if you get in fights with partners, you put it online, and then you make up afterwards, all people remember is the fight. So if it happens again, then they start looking at you odd, like there's something wrong, because people only know of the fight. They don't necessarily know of the makeup. So you got once someone kind of attacks you, that if that happened, then that is the perfect time to leave.
So I don't even understand what the issue was. Punch me in my face. So I'm obviously defending myself, innit? His dad keeps telling me, do I believe in God? Renee, you should pray more. Renee, you should try and resolve the situation. You stood there and you watched your son punch me in my face while I was packing the boot. And you didn't say anything to him. I am absolutely in shock. I don't think anybody understands the shock that I'm in.
Yeah. So this is very alarming stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's I think so. The defense, domestic defense, is the topic. So regardless of the sister situation, I think when you start dating someone, you definitely want to have certain agreements and saying like we're here to have a good time and have a good life and that, but there's one kind of rule, and that is you can't beat me up, innit? You can't put your hands on me, and if you do that, that means it's automatically over. And also having connections with parents and family, brothers and stuff, just so you have kind of like people you can call if your partner is acting unruly or very aggressive. But saying that, the sister is describing that allegedly the father was there watching and saying you should pray more. I don't know if that's the best thing to say if you're the daughter of your son's child is being attacked by your son. Obviously something seems a bit odd about that. But yeah, these are things. Also, the sister's describing having children with a person who she didn't want him to have power, so she didn't put his name on the birth certificate. So that really shows you that the relationship might be a bit peculiar, where that is a way you would operate. You cannot have an argument with a truly abusive partner. Oh, sorry. Let me put my glasses on. Agreement. Sorry about that. You cannot have an agreement with a truly abusive partner. Is that working from the stance of her or from the stance of him? I was from him. Yeah, you can't. The agreement. Here's where it works. The agreement isn't necessarily for him. It's more so for you. As in, because many abused women who are attacked, they find themselves still with the partner, right? Either looking past it, thinking they'll change, or some other multifaceted reason. But if you know you have an agreement, something that is just clear as day, like this is, if this happens, I go, then you have that as a strength, as you said before you met him, that this was, and it helps highlight that he's violated your trust, as in he said something, and this is going against it because you've had that agreement, rather than, oh, maybe he's from a culture or a family where they just fight women. You know, maybe she's from a culture where they fight men. I think having this agreement that, as you shouldn't be touching each other, that's just without question, right? uh, at all. But yes, it is more worse when a man hits a woman. But generally, you shouldn't be hitting each other just as a consequence of life. Don't do that, right? Big up everyone in the house, by the way. Big up African Goddess and Uncle Baba and everyone else who's here now and who will be here in the future. We're tackling two topics today: the domestic defense and false accusations against men, part two. Let's follow up with last week's story. Uh, we're going to quickly come off this because I haven't got too many video and I don't know much about this young sister here. But I do know that every time I see her, I guess that's the algorithm thing. It seems to be a very problematic concept to do with either scamming, fighting, cursing, parents or friends, and the boyfriend of and a child's father, but also now in physical fights where she said she was fighting him or defending herself, but he definitely was hitting her, as she said. So, and this is to be expected, that seems to be the environment that's created. And that's another thing. If you are in that kind of hot tempered zone and you're that kind of person, you might find yourself more around that. And being around that, you might not necessarily notice that to be problematic because you are yourself problematic. Where arguing and shouting is a very normal thing, especially if someone has the ability to curse out their parents, people's children, this kind of thing. You might not notice certain behavior patterns that's too extreme because you yourself are matching that kind of extremity. So that's something that we want to be watch, trying to get ourselves in a ruly state. So when the more you find yourself in a ruly state, the more you find yourself in a peaceful, controlled state, the more the opposite stands out a mile. So you find that if you distance yourself from certain friends and you have new friends, and there's a constant peaceful vibe that you get used to. So you go back to the old environment and you start realizing that that the hostility, certain words, certain behavior patterns. You go, oh yeah, oh that actually stands out now. So that this is some of the guidance we can give, trying to hang around more productive people. Well, a lot of these people live online, and if clickbait and this kind of stuff is what they're after, I let you know personally, you will not get any followers doing constructive things. No, sir. All this kind of stuff here definitely gets bigger engagement, hence why we even cover it. So that's just the irony of life. So anyway, we'll move on to the next topic. This one might be slightly because videos are playing. We'll try to give you a back there, but we wish your sister well. If anyone wants to talk about this, they can. Let's see. This sister enjoys drama. She probably, yeah, I suspect she does. Exactly. If you have to defend yourself against your man, that's absolutely madness. Yeah. There should be no context where, I mean, unless you literally are defending yourself from a man, but yeah, it shouldn't be a normal thing. Like the idea is your man defends you, right? So once again, as a man, if he did that, he is wrong. I don't know what motivated it. Now there's very few things that can justify attacking your girlfriend unless she's trying to kill your kids, or she's or she's just in a rage armed with a weapon or something. But I can't think of any reason why you would want to harm the wife of your kids or a woman in general, unless it really is life or death. You know, I don't know this. I don't know. Once again, the situation hasn't been explained. Just one side. There was some other videos, but I didn't download it, of what he was saying. But ultimately, if he did hit the woman, no one's going to have mercy for him, and they should. But it's good to hear sides of the story. But either way, we're going to move to the next topic. Unless someone wants to unpack more on this one. But how we try to resolve it is you definitely want to have that agreement that if someone hits you, it's over, and you want to communicate with family members so you have people to reach out to, and you have that maybe that should be a conversation. Like, how do we deal with domestic violence? Both ways. If I'm domestically violent and you're domestic violent, as a family, me, you, and your should we have a safe place? Should I be able to ring your parents, let you know, or should that be a secret thing? Maybe that kind of conversation. Be very deliberate about it. Let's see, shall we? Let's open the next one. So what's the next topic? So we do that. Dum dum dum. So this is next time we'll go to the first one, which is a continuation of last week, and that is false accusations against men. We discuss why false accusations is bad for men and makes truthful claims hard to prove. Yeah, so definitely lying about men. And we're gonna this story is unfolding with this lady, Victoria, I forget it is. And what we'll do is we'll listen to. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, you can watch it live. It's been blackified, so it shouldn't cause any issues. Let's find it. Let's see which one it is. I don't know which one. Is it the long one or the short one?
Jason paid Gucci to release.
That's 43. Let's see this one. This one is.
What was the psychological effects that it had on you?
Hold on.
And that was one of the.
Maybe I'll play. Is that a part two? Let me play part one. It's quite long, and I'll stop at some point. This is Victoria Everest. This is the woman of last week who was there was video recordings of her, talking about she's trying to set up her ex-boyfriend to go to jail for sexual assault. He didn't do this according to her, but he has done things that she's not best pleased with. So she renders that he should be in jail for those other things. So this is the best way. And as a passerby managed to get this through knowing her for a couple of days, apparently.
Yes.
This is not the one. This is not the one. Sorry, this is the response which we'll play afterwards. This might be a long show because these videos are long. So I'll try. Let's see how much I can play of it. But let me play this one, then we'll go into the other one.
Paid Gucci to release the video.
So let's talk about the video.
As a result of that video being provided to the police,
I'll skip all the intros, so I'll go to the show. Here we go. Let's start the show, which is there. Go.
Us a bit about yourself.
I'm in the middle of
Hold on. Where's the
controversial and very sensitive to a lot of people. She's here today to discuss her side of the story and hopefully clear some questions up. Please welcome to the show, Victoria Everest. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for asking. I mean, this has been a very intense couple of days for you, I'm sure. How have you been feeling? How are you managing?
Actually, I've managed to stay quite grounded. I've got an excellent support network and community around me, which I'm just incredibly grateful for. I'm in the middle of a 21-day juice fast, which has really just allowed me to just not react to things that are being said online, but really just respond with truth and clarity. So I'm super, super grateful for this opportunity to set the record straight.
Well, thank you for joining us to set the record straight. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So before we get started, tell us a bit about yourself. You've got an amazing platform in terms of wellness and fitness and caring for the body. So for those people that don't know you prior to this scandal, tell us a bit more about what you do and who you are.
So I run one of the fastest.
I think that some men weren't best pleased that there wasn't a man to do the interview, whatever. I think they're saying that because it was woman to woman, it was a much more cheery kind of vibe. And I think she was meant to be on some men's shows, but she declined them last minute for some reason. Well, we'll see.
Growing detox and wellness academies in the world, and we teach people essentially how they can reclaim their health, giving them tools and techniques, predominantly based around fasting, but also other health healing modalities. So movement's a really big part of that. I also support, I guess through my time of growing my community, I support a huge community of people online with just daily inspiration, providing them guidance around juicing, working out, health, wellness. That's essentially what I do in a nutshell.
Obviously, you're not in the studio with me. So where exactly are you?
So I'm currently in Jamaica. We are in the middle of running our Reset Wellness Retreat, where people across the world fly in for a week to come and detox and reset their body. Impact.
So we'll skip all this. This is her. She does all the Jamaican stuff and juice and stuff like that.
Why is your relationship with men first and foremost? Because certain things that you were saying in the video kind of showed that you don't like men. So kind of talk me through that. Like, what's your relationship or your view towards men holistically?
So just to give you a bit of context, my mum's Turkish, my father's Nigerian. I was born and raised in London. Both my parents came to the UK as immigrants back in the 80s. My mum actually couldn't speak any English. Turkish was our main spoken language at home, and I actually ended up learning English at school. My relationship with my father was a very interesting one. He was a well-renowned journalist, had a publication called Business in Africa magazine, and I was his princess. I had a very, very close relationship with him growing up until the age of 12.
So her father is Nigerian and her mother is Turkish.
When he then moved to South Africa to pursue his business and his career. And at that point, things really changed for me, going into my teenage years.
I don't know if anyone's seen this video before, but if you've seen it first time now.
It's not having my father present. I would see him once or twice a year, but he didn't play an active role in my life at all, kind of going into early teenagehood, adolescence, and at the age of 19, at 47 years young, his life was tragically taken. He was assassinated by a family member, and that was, for me, probably one of the most traumatic experiences I had to go through, as a young adult, in my early teens, losing I would say losing my best friend. I looked up to my dad so much. We spent so much time together, even though.
So far, she has a very positive interaction with her father and love for him, it seems.
He wasn't there physically, he still was my idol, and to have his life, to lose him so tragically at such a young age, I think definitely played a burden on me for sure.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm really sorry to hear that. Do you think that your father being absent in your life contributed to how you view men?
Not having my dad around growing up didn't influence my view on men. I think what it did do is it created a space for where I didn't have the right guidance, nurturing, or support structure as a young person. It created the space for me to just essentially encounter challenges, going through, my teenage life from the age of, from the ages of 12 to 16. So from year 7, to year 11, I went to 6 different secondary schools. I was expelled 3 times. I got myself involved with, a gang of criminals.
Saying at a very young age, she got into criminality.
To say it quite frankly. And I almost got myself murdered at the age of 15. I was on the front page of Hackney Gazette because I had been kidnapped, taken, by the kidnappers to a river, had all of my hair cut off. I had a bag put over my head and thrown into the river. I was in a hospital for 2 weeks in concussion. And as a result of that, there was multiple attacks at that time, but as a result of that first attack, I was put into witness protection, which I later came out of because I decided not to pursue the charges. But at that point, I also was in social services by the age of 15. I was in a foster home. My dad wasn't around, like I said. And both my parents really tried their best with me. I am an only child, and I think by the point where they realized that my life was in serious danger growing up, at the time I was in Hackney. So when they realized that my life was in serious danger, my dad decided to step in and remove me from the UK, and I ended up.
So you're saying that her dad was quite a good influence on her from that standpoint, but she chose, for whatever reason, to hang with criminals at 15. And when her dad found out, he moved her to another place. So this seems to be very positive, somewhat of a father figure, somewhat.
Finishing my studies in Germany, I went to the Berlin British School, and I ended up finishing year 11.
Okay, wow, that's a lot to take in. There's so much to unpack in what you've just said. But what I want to touch on is, you mentioned, you talk about your dad, but where was your mum when all of this was happening?
I also lost my mum in 2021 to COVID. She was 56 years young. So that's, talking about my mum, always get a little bit emotional, but up until the age of 12, my mum played a really active role in my life. You know, she was the mum that would take me to every single after school club, swimming, horse riding. You know, she is an incredibly, incredibly strong and inspiring woman that poured nothing but love and nurturance into me growing up. But when I hit the age of 12, she met somebody, and the person that she had met was living in Tottenham at the time. We were living in South London in West Norwood. And within a few months of meeting this individual, he was a Turkish man, she fell pregnant. They decided they were going to get married and have a child. So essentially, at the age of 12, my mum had decided to start a new family. And I think that's really when my struggles with men really began. And throughout those years, throughout those teenage years, throughout the adolescent years, from the time that my mum was with this man, his name was Sayed, I witnessed the most.
Well, the first father was Nigerian, but the abusive father, or the father that she's not best pleased with, was Turkish. So the mother married another Turkish person. And I think that has developed her issues with men. Although I think she only exclusively dates black men. So it's just interesting.
Most horrific acts of domestic violence. I'm talking, you know, my mum was regularly beaten black and blue in front of me, had her hair dragged, had her teeth.
We're talking about domestic violence today, so definitely something, what we were saying, doing it in front of, well, just doing it in general is wrong, of course, but in front of your children, it has double effect on the wife and the children who view it.
Teeth kicked in while she was pregnant to my younger brother. My stepdad kicked her in the stomach, and you know, it was just one of those things growing up.
Trigger warning, like I said, this is a woman giving a testimony. So anyone who's triggered by it, let us know. We can all skip stuff.
Ended up really resenting, you know, because I had no control as a teenager. I had no control. I had no way of protecting my mum. And I thought, definitely at the time, maybe I can seek safety and comfort on the streets. And that's what I did. I got taken in by the streets. And I remember, 14, 15, that was another thing as well. You know, whilst I was still at home, I also had challenges because my mum, being Turkish, is white. My stepdad was white. My little brother was also white. So I also felt like I didn't fit in. My dad wasn't around. So the closest space, or I guess the closest I could feel home was really the safety on the streets.
So if you have children, well, we're talking about, not marrying within your group, and that can cause these kind of identity issues. But also, you want to make sure that your child doesn't feel more at home on the street than in your house. And obviously, the reason is they won't be able to tell violence from non-violence, or right from wrong. And if what your sister's saying is true, then things like end up in the river, like she was saying, with her hair cut off and stuff, could be and being witness protection, this kind of stuff, for whatever she was doing illegally. This is an option that can happen if you're not really around your kids to guide them.
And I remember going through my teenage years thinking, one day I'm gonna kill this man for what he's put my mum through. And that's essentially, I think, was the beginning of the relationship, the beginning, I guess the beginning of it all was.
So the conversation of this, most people are not really on her side in any capacity, especially men. And they feel that these stories were done to create a kind of sorry state to help nullify the recordings of her trying to set up innocent men or a man to go to jail for something he didn't do.
Witnessing domestic violence, the severity of what my mum went through growing up. And I know a lot of people can relate in Turkish cultures, especially Turkish, Arabic, any kind of ethnic culture, to be beaten by your husband is normalized. It's one of those things that it's like.
Well, in Black Betterment, we don't normalize beating up women or children. The opposite, protecting and providing for children is what's normalized. So that's something else. So I don't know what's going on in Arab and whatever communities, but definitely saying that we're controlling here this is not acceptable behavior.
Women just have to endure it. We have to accept it. And, you know, that my mum, because of the sake of my younger brother, she stayed in that relationship.
What was the psychological effects that it had on you? How would you describe that?
It almost normalized it, you know, so it was no coincidence when I hit 26, 27 that I found I kept finding myself in relationships with abusive men. You know, that played a really big part in terms of my psychology and, you know, not realizing, I think it was more of a subconscious decision that, you know, I was making, that I would end up in a relationship with men who at some point would end up abusing me. If it wasn't physically, it was emotionally or mentally. And it was a pattern that was continuing throughout, you know, kind of my adult life.
So let's talk about the video, the recent viral video. So when
we should probably skip there straight away to this, but I guess if you wanted to, backtracking of who the person is.
When the video first dropped, you mentioned that it was fake and it was AI. Can we talk a bit about that? Like, what did you mean?
So given the size and scale of my account, I'm not the person that always is behind running my account. So the video was sent to me, and my first response to the video was that this has been edited, this is fake. And that's what I said to my team. So they then took that and said it was AI. When I realized that they'd put out it was AI, I deleted the story immediately and, then went forward with saying it's a very, very real video. It's just been, it's a 7-minute video that's been edited specifically to show me in a particular light, So I think there was a misunderstanding there for sure.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that we need to unpack about that video, but you mentioned that, you hate men in that video. And obviously you describing everything that you've gone through psychologically, one could argue that, it's understandable why you would kind of have that viewpoint. But you've mentioned that your dad didn't contribute to it, it was your stepdad. And then you also entered into abusive relationships. What did those abusive relationships look like?
Well, you will unpack that. Like, her dad was a good person. And to her, and her stepdad was bad. So she's seeing the dynamics between how a biological father, not that being biological father will make you good, but she see that there is this is your child and there's a connection versus some new person who attacks her mother.
What did you experience?
In relation to the video, the
person never said that her first dad attacked her mother at all. So that's also something.
Person that I was in a relationship with, it was over a period of 18 months. When I first entered a relationship with this guy, generally I would, be naive enough, because I'm someone who wears their heart on their sleeve naturally in every scenario, every situation. And, one of the things that led me to even entering this relationship was just being vulnerable enough to take people for face value. The manipulation that went into pursuing the relationship from him, early on in the relationship really was, when I look back and reflect, I think, okay, I definitely was in a really broken state. When I look back at that video, because, I've watched it a couple times, and just to set the record straight, that video was filmed almost 10 years ago. The person who I was speaking...
So I don't think it is 10. It might be 5 or 6 years ago. It wasn't 10. I could be wrong.
Speaking about in that video wasn't arrested and wasn't prosecuted. Whilst
we've also got the gentleman who recorded this conversation. He gives his opinion on another show. We'll play that as well.
I said some extremely, extremely, vile things in that video. A lot of people have really focused on the hate and the anger, and
I'm so sorry. I'm just going to cut you because you said the person in the video that you were referring to was not prosecuted, was not arrested, was not charged.
Someone said, I'm confused. She said she's an only child. Then she said she has a little brother. Is she a liar? A habitual liar, she said. She has gone, okay, cool. Maybe, that's me.
Absolutely not. He wasn't.
Yeah, I'm reading the comments here because I'm on the page now. I'll give a link to where it is if you want to see it yourselves. But no, big up sister She Reigns, Black Betterment too. I don't think anyone's really but obviously, I think with women, most women understand the dangers of lying about sexual assault. Like it's very hard in certain parts to prove sexual assault. So when you actually lie about it, it just further enforces how hard it might be because people just use that as the example of you see. Well, she did it. Why, how do I know you're not doing it?
He wasn't charged. He didn't go to jail. And actually, the video was provided to the police, and because the video was provided to the police, he managed to get away with those charges. And as a result of that video being provided to the police, I was charged, caution, and I had to go on probation. So I have a criminal record, and that was a decision made by the police at the time. So I really had to pay the price.
Okay, so we're moving along a bit quickly here. So the video, the man that released the video, Gucci Walker, I believe, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah. He released a statement saying that his friend, the reason why he made the video was because his friend was charged with a false rape case. Yeah. And at the hands of you planned it. You had the man in your house where you both had intercourse, and then the police caught him there. So he was going to jail. He couldn't bust case on this particular matter because he was found in your house. But you're saying that that didn't happen.
No, so he did get arrested, and because the video, was provided to the police as evidence, he was released. He never got charged, and I never saw Denzel again. That was, over 8 years ago. We've never spoken, we've never seen. He went on with his life. I went, we made a lot of mistakes during that relationship. That was probably one of the most traumatic. I've been through two very, very traumatic relationships in my life. One of those, when I say traumatic, violent and abusive. One of those was with Denzel, the person that was in question in the video. And his ex-partner warned me. She was a teacher. She had a non-molestation order against him. And she said, look, this guy, she told me exactly what was going to happen in the relationship.
I don't know if this is true or not, but that's something that, you might think that women are lying to capture the ex-partner. If this might not be true, so I don't know, but if that was the case, that would be a big red flag.
And I didn't believe her. Denzel, convinced me also not to believe her, and I really paid the price of that. One of the biggest things, that came out of the relationship is during the time that we were together, I fell pregnant. I ended up contracting an STI. He gave me gonorrhea at the time. At the time I was working at Microsoft, I had a very successful career with a 6-figure salary. And he told me that he was an ex-football player, semi-pro football player, only to later discover that actually he worked on the railways. He was living at his mum's house on the couch. And the car that he'd met me in, which was a brand new Range Rover, belonged to...
The thing is, these things might be true, but these are things that someone lying about their wealth and this stuff is problematic. But this is not the kind of abuse that warrants you to arrest someone for false sexual assault. Also, she mentioned being abused by this man, but I would think that would be what, because when she's talking about these kinds of lying about football play and this kind of stuff, she's really unpacking it and going through the layers of it. But you will probably want to know more about the physical beatings than this kind of stuff. But then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's traumatized, she can't speak about it. I don't know. But that would be like, okay, yeah, so you've alleged she's done something to you in the past, but not in the present, and you're just trying to collate all the bad things in one and get him charged, which is illegal and wrong. But then what are those bad things that you're trying to collate in one? Because him lying about being a football player and him lying about living at his home with his mum in a nice house, whatever, that doesn't warrant him go to jail for sexual assault.
Uh,
At least I don't think so. Others might disagree.
Belonged to the girl that he was dating at Brown Eagle. It was someone else's vehicle. So that was only, you know, months into the relationship I was discovering these things. I found a secret phone in his car. You know, there was a whole, you know, a whole array of women that he was meeting up with, you know, and sleeping with at the same time while he was living in my house. And any
yeah, so this is problematic behavior, especially if a woman providing for a man, and yet the man, the fact that he's been provided for, but yet he's still, if this is true, is trying to, you know, meet other women and this kind of stuff. This is because this is just disrespectful. But obviously, it's also not intelligent if you don't have a house. But if that actually is what happened, that is.
Single time that I confronted him, the backlash was, you know, a verbal, physical abuse. And during the time that we was in the relationship, I called the police 19 times because I was at fear of my life. My son was living with me at the time. I'm a single mom, and my son was around 7 at the time. And that was one of the worst things, you know.
So was the son his child or not? For 7. So I don't know. If the son's his child, that means they were together for 7 years. If not, she's allowed this abusive man to live in the house with her son. But I could be wrong. I'm just trying to connect for all that kind of stuff. Maybe you guys know more about the story. I don't know. Maybe you follow this woman and buy her juices and this kind of thing on the internet. I don't know. It's not really. I've seen a picture of her next to a renowned herbalist guy or juice guy, but I don't know much about it.
That I've ever experienced was to see my son, you know, witness me getting beaten up by this man. And he wasn't just a man, he was a street thug. He was a guy off the street, you know, from the end. And, you know, and because of...
So what she's saying is she allowed a street thug to live with her for a certain amount of time. And this is before or after her awakening of... I don't know how when she started doing the awakening kind of stuff, but definitely women, if you see a street thug who doesn't play football, lives with his parents, and lies to you about where he's going and stuff, definitely this is a red flag to not let them move in with your children.
Because of the fact that each time I called the police for, you know, for abuse, whether it was abuse, you know, in front of or, you know, isolated, maybe he wasn't at home, because there was a child at home, social services were involved. And at the last point where he was arrested, my main concern was keeping him safe. You know, that was the ultimate thing for me. Social services were, you know, I was at complete risk of losing him because I was in this relationship with this abusive man.
At what point did you decide everything that you're going through in this relationship, the abuse that you were enduring, when did you decide that in order for me to get him back, because that's what you mentioned in the video, that you were going to make this false allegation? Like, when did that thought process land?
So every single time the police were called, the follow-up was made. There was a non-molestation order. There was a restraining order, so he couldn't, you know, come back to the house. But he would always turn back up at the house, crying, you know, begging me, apologizing. He's not going to do it again, and that I need to forgive him, that I'm his baby girl, and you know, everything was going to be okay. And being naive and vulnerable, at the time I would take him back, believe his lies, and not realizing at the time I was experiencing, you know, what we call today is severe narcissism. But there came a point where the social services were like, you know, we're gonna, you're now putting your child in risk by staying in this relationship. It was only in hindsight, when I look back, I take responsibility for being the codependent to enable that relationship to go on for as long as it did. I definitely take accountability, you know, for the things that I said in that video, the hurtful things that I said. I hate men. One of the things I referred to in that video specifically was the fact that I say to the person that was recording the video that I'm going to put a stop to this so that he doesn't go and do this to other women. You know, like, I felt that at that point that the only person that could stop this man was me. And the only way that I could stop him was by sending him to jail.
So I don't actually quantify what it is that he has done to make him worthy of going to jail, and what it was that she's done that she needs to protect other women from. Like that'd be interesting because you know if you don't, that's a really essentially what she wants you to believe is something happened in her relationship that was so bad that she doesn't want that to happen to other women, so he needs to go to jail. Yeah.
And the reason behind that was like I didn't want anyone else.
Victoria, I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna interject here.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you wanted to get him back because of the abuse? Because even though you're mentioning things that he's done, I'm still a bit hazy on what he actually did to you. Like what was the 13th reason as to why you felt like I'm going to get him arrested? What was he actually doing to you?
He'd beaten me up in front of he'd beating me black and blue. It wasn't just, my mouth was swollen. I had blood. My eyes, it was just essentially it was a repeat of what I had been experiencing growing up. At that point, he strangled.
You said growing up. Is that with her family or on the street?
Me, so I lost consciousness. And that was the final straw for me. That was
the thing is, these are actual crimes themselves. So it's very interesting because it's these are actual crimes that she's describing, and what's amazing about like how the law system can work is you're probably better off telling the truth about actual crimes rather than lying about that crimes that haven't been committed. It's probably a better strategy. Go, let me actually tell them what he actually did or does. And also, if she is beating black and blue with face swollen, this is the evidence needed to put him in jail. I don't know if there's not that I've seen, especially a black man as well, of where you can show the police black and blue footage or imagery, and nothing happens to him. He does, and also especially around kids, it'll be interesting to follow that up. I don't want that to be true because that's a horrible thing. But then I'm just wondering if she's correct on that. But I could be wrong.
It because I said to myself, like, there's no way I can keep going through this. At the time, my mum was still alive, and she was very much, encouraging me to get the law involved. And
it's interesting because the mother was someone who regularly was beaten up by the husband allegedly, but she's saying that you shouldn't go for it. So that's interesting because she said that there's a culture of less enduring.
Really make sure that I can draw a line and be able to move on, from.
And also, unfortunately, the person she's mentioning who was supporting her is no longer with us.
This relationship. And
looking back, why did you feel like this was the best course of action for you to take?
When I look back at why I would have taken that, why I would have been so drastic and so extreme in terms of my response, it wasn't even a response, it was a reaction. It was a reaction. Because I was terrified of what he would do to me, that he would continue to do it to me, put me at harm, put my son in harm.
Has she mentioned if the son was ever put in harm at all?
Put other women in harm, and I
other women as well.
Felt like I said, I could be the one to stop that and change that, not realizing.
That's where it becomes very tricky for me, where you see someone who generally is trying to protect other women. It isn't. You have to. I don't know. You have to show me a talking pattern or a way of being where that is a general concern. Because she's mentioned that a few times that I didn't want him to do to me to other women.
That we don't have the ability to change anyone. We can only change ourselves. And unfortunately, I messed up. I made a really stupid decision in making that statement. And, I had to pay the price. I really had to pay the price. Not only did somebody get away scotch-free from the offenses that they committed, but I ended up, having a criminal record because of it. Ultimately,
she said, not only did someone get away scotch-free, with the offense that they committed, but I end up getting a criminal record. What was she comparing that? It's like she got a criminal record for lying, and she's saying that all the black and blue videos that she's reported the 13th time or the 19th time she's rang the police. You tell me, out of all the black and blue beatings, there wasn't anything that stuck. Like, this man is a violent man. Is there? I don't know. There's any reports on that? Is there? They're sure there's pictures. Like, could you not sue the Would you not sue the police department if you have black and blue pictures and nothing is done? And this man is living with her, so he's back to where he's done the crime.
That wasn't the end, like I had to do, that was the beginning of, and I think I even mentioned it in.
Because she's trying to manipulate the audience into siding with her. That might be it. That might be it. I mean, the thing is, let's carry on listening for
that. In that recording, that that's what my therapist said. I've been in therapy for almost coming up to 8 years now. And that was the beginning of my therapy. That was the beginning of realizing, my part to play, how I enabled this situation. And, ultimately, I take responsibility because ultimately, I didn't have any self-worth for myself. If I had enough self-worth for myself, I would never let a man like that in my space, in my home, around my child. I had no value of that. And I think that.
So, the strategy she's going is to really paint the picture of this person as a wicked individual. And I guess what's happening now, there is no accountability on what she's actually done. And maybe she did it to justify, maybe she's trying to, as they say, manipulate the audience, whatever. But this is a bit weird behavior, sort of. Not weird if you're actually strategizing.
That's where it all begun for me.
I think, the abuse that you've endured is horrible, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I'm so sorry that you went through that. But I think it's very important to kind of think about the repercussions that a rape charge has. Did you think about that? Because, for example, people that go to prison for rape are, that sometimes they get killed because of the allegations. So obviously you sending someone.
It is a severe paedophilia, and sexual assault of any kind is a very severe thing in many prisons.
Someone to prison, that's number one, taking years off of their life for something that they didn't do, and there's a possibility that they could literally die in prison. Did that thought process go?
And then if they don't die, and the years they go through, how people view them when they come out, how their families view them, as well as their ability to get work and job is decreased.
Through your mind at all?
At that time, I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't cross my mind at all. My main thing that was on my mind is keeping myself safe and keeping my son safe and making sure that, I don't fall victim to this abuser again. And like I said, it's not right. I don't condone anything I said in that video. I think it's really important to, to make a very clear distinction in that the person in that video that was speaking is merely just a shell of the person I am today. And I've had to do a lot of work.
The person in the video was very, it was very conniving and vindictive, that person, and it was very casual. And from what I know of the person who was talking to her, he didn't know her, he only knew her for a day. So he was charming her and fighting, he knew about a case apparently. But for her to be that comfortable to meet a person who's charming her, and then tell him all these things casually, and not even ponder how does this make me look, or how will it have an impact on me being with him, if that's the one I'm telling, because I'm assuming she's being charmed by him or whatever. Because if it's just a gentleman she's met on the street, that's very peculiar to confess your crimes to, and that really shows me a very, unless he made her feel that this is an amazing thing she's achieved, and she's trying to get brownie points for it. But and this was 5 years ago. That's the thing, 5 years. You're looking at 2020. Sometimes with the internet, people start talking, that was years ago, and it's it was 2019, 2022, 2020. It's I think you're talking about the 90s or something, or the 80s. You're talking about something that was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, nothing's happened in many people's lives. They're the same people. Take or give. So so then if that's 5 years ago, where did she discover this Jewish journey of inner peace and this kind of stuff? And if that's the case, how has this woman gone from this inner peace guru to the point where she has such a big following? Like where's the journey of her transitioning and going through? If she's quite popular, but then it's the internet, so anything get you popular, I guess, whatever.
And that's why my lifestyle is so important to me. When I made that statement, when I said those things on camera, I was a very angry, scorned Black woman who...
Lot of sisters are not best pleased with her because, she always mentions in Turkish, and she's a sister, of course, but they're saying that in her attempts to try to cover herself, she's using the angry Black woman trope. But she was mentioning Turkish and Turkish mum and Turkish before, and they don't think, why are you bringing the Black woman trope into your behavioral patterns? You should let that go because it's not doing any justice for the sisters and stuff.
I wanted the guy dead, that's the reality of it, for what he had put me through, for the pain.
She says she wants him dead. That's a very strong thing, and that could happen in jail. So the way she was articulating certain things and the way she articulated her history and the love for her father, she didn't really articulate the stuff this man did that will make him worthy of death in the way that I can say, yeah, I get it. I don't think she really conveyed that. I could be wrong, though. It could be all true. Even if it was true, it wouldn't warrant you lying about something. Unless that did happen, and you're just trying to get him now because it didn't happen before, that would be a different thing, but that's not what she's saying.
They put me through, and it wasn't just everything I had experienced in that relationship. It was almost like the wrath of what I'd experienced through life.
So what she's saying is, that's interesting. So what she's saying there now is, actually, it isn't just a relationship, it's just an accumulation of everything bad. If that what she just said, I could be wrong. Let me carry on.
And, how I'd seen men, including my stepdad, and, including men that, growing up, abuse women. And I feel like at that point, my expression in that video was really just an expression of the wrath and the letdown and the...
She actually did try. She's on a criminal record because she actually went through with it, right? She went through with it. So that means what she just said there is confirming her guilt, I guess, and the fact that this is falsehood. Like, she's admitted that, as in she's trying to paint a picture that he's done some crime that's worthy of her saying this. But saying that you're saying that you just put on him all the challenges that your Turkish dad did and gangster men you rolled with at 15 who put bags on your head and threw you in rivers and this kind of stuff. If they were men who did that, she wasn't really clear if those were men doing that then. I'm not too sure. Because if she's in a gang, usually gangs might be made up of the same sex. Sometimes, that kind of stuff. There are women gangs. And obviously cutting off hair. I mean, do men do that? Maybe they do. Maybe, once again, is that Turkish gangs? I'm just thinking, is there Black men running around with scissors cutting off women's hair? I don't know. Black men are so confused about women's hair today. I don't know if it's really something that they really focus on, but I could be wrong. Who knows what I'm talking about?
Pain. I was a scorned woman, and by making that statement, he didn't go to jail and he didn't get prosecuted. It backfired, and like I said, I really had to sit with the discomfort and the shame around that. And
the discomfort and shame. This is like a major thing. It's almost like, the truth is, I've seen documentaries about in South Africa and stuff. They did one where they're talking about men who rape men and men who rape women and this kind of stuff. Sorry, the words. I don't know if you can say these words or whatever. But these are very and they interview the people, and it's quite shocking and daunting to hear these people how they speak, whatever. And I think false allegations about that has to be on the same kind of level, because it's such a bad thing that to just have someone casually mention it and skip past it and say, the shame of it and stuff, it really is a bad thing. And I don't know if she fully understands
One of
that.
the biggest things, I haven't gone into any of the blog posts, and I refuse not to entertain, the gossip or the low vibrational, low frequency conversations. But I will say, quite a few people have messaged and said, "What about your son?" And I think it would have been really irresponsible for me, as a 30-year-old woman at that time, to carry that same mindset through to who I am and the.
So if that's the case, if she was 30 then, that'll make her 40 now. So that's another thing. She said that was 10 years ago. I believe she's 36 or such. So that means she's 40. That's something women really know if they're 40.
Woman I am today, and that would have been irresponsible of me as a mum, not making any changes, not looking in the mirror, not looking at my thoughts, not doing the work to uncondition myself from those thoughts. The reality.
One of the challenges we have to do in this community as well is people who come into like a kind of like conscious kind of space, but they still have the energy from the past in their movements, and they it either drives them. And this is a big problem we have in the conscious community, where people who have that waywardness from the past, it's just they have a mask where they can mask it, and there's allegedly this woman has done other things to other content people and allegedly taking their money and this kind of thing. I don't know how, this is what was being reported. We reported last week, but this is something we need to definitely try to cleanse the mind of this kind of behavior, if that is what's going on.
Years, when I fast forward to my life today, I have a very, very healthy relationship with my partner. He's an incredible man. I run retreats across the world.
I don't think she ever apologized for it, but I guess she wouldn't.
Wellness and detox retreats open to men and women, and we even host men's only retreats. Men need healing as much as women need healing too. I'm an advocate for men.
So this must be the part of the interview where she's saying people are bad, they need healing, and maybe she's now being healed, maybe.
Being open enough to do the work on themselves.
When women are scorned, because I'm not going to lie to you, that's something that I'm sure most of us have experienced. Personally speaking, I wouldn't think I'm going to falsely accuse this man of rape. Like, is that something that you had done before? How did that even enter into your mind? Is that something that you had seen someone do? Like, why was that the thing that you said, I'm going to get him via this route, as opposed to for the actual abuse that he was doing?
Because he had actually sexually assaulted me in the relationship. There was so many times in the relationship that he had sex with me without my consent. And I think that's where it came to, whilst he hadn't, on that occasion, when I reported him, he hadn't raped me. During the time that I was in a relationship, he assaulted me continuously. Like I said, it wasn't just physical.
Well, if that's true, that's very bad. However, that is something you should report, and sometimes maybe women don't, okay? But it does seem, I don't know, it's a very, 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 very funny ground just, you're dealing with there. Because did she not report any of that then? Because she reported 19 times he attacked her. I don't know. This is very shooter. This is like this is, I don't know about this one.
Abuse. It was mental, emotional, and there was, I can count numerous times in the relationship while we were together, and I did not consent. I didn't want to have sex with him, and he pushed me to, and he forced me to. And unfortunately, like I said, there is no justice in the justice system, and the police couldn't protect me from this man.
Had you made previous?
So this is another thing, and obviously we know victims do things if she was a victim. Well, if you live with your son, you're being abused physically, sexually, mentally. For yourself and your son, you will have to try to, first of all, that living with you, like, it should take a lot. It'll be interesting to know how long he knew her before she moved into her house, as she was saying. And also, if he is abusive, you want to get rid of him more so for your son and yourself rather than yourself. But We'll see.
reports? Had you gone to the police
I'd
prior?
called the police 19 times. There's a record of 19 separate occasions during the time he was in a relationship for
And was any of them of a sexual assault nature?
18 months where I'd called the
Because if there was, you're saying there's physical evidence of her being beat up, sexual assault, yet this man is not being charged. What's interesting enough is when she did actually accuse him of saying it was a serious thing, he was taken away, and this evidence had to be gifted to get him out. So that means the police would have taken it serious if that was how this time you did it. Why did the other times not do it? Especially when I think they came in. I think it was a setup. I think she set up that way, at least the final time. So that means if you had done the same thing before, as in ring after the alleged thing happened or around that time, the same thing would have happened.
police for whether it
Could be wrong.
was domestic abuse, violence, sexual assault. It
Was that what was it for? What did you call the police for?
For domestic abuse, violence, sexual assault. Throughout the 18 months, there was 9.
And the police didn't do anything.
So she was with this man for 18 months. He lived with her. I don't know how long he met her before she moved in. And so what she's saying, for 18 months, she called the police 19 times. Interesting. Well, let me, if you want me to play the guy's response now. This video's got maybe 10 more minutes. I can skip to. We've got time. We allocate 2 hours to the show, so we can do it. But yeah, this is like some of the comments. Every time she like. I'm not gonna read any insult ones. Sorry. I'm just trying to paint a picture that there seems to be nobody who's believing it. Yeah, I don't want to read insult ones. They actually gave her time. Cancel this platform. I've had enough. I don't believe nothing that comes from her mouth. You should have done jail time for lying. We need a body language expert to analyze. That's a good one. That one. There's a US YouTube channel with over 100%. I don't know. That's actual trash. Can't believe giving her a platform to spill nonsense. Cancel this platform. He got away with what? He's innocent. He doesn't get away with anything because he did not do what you accuse him of. You set him up. You're a monster. It was a setup. If you think about how it was done, yeah, of course. Why didn't she get him sent down for the DID do? I think he's going to say 2. Cool. Off record should issue an actual heartfelt apology. Lost her platform. This is disgusting. There's nobody who's actually who's actually on this lady's side. Obviously, they've heard the video with her, but then I guess these are terrible questions. Let me interview her. She's Turkish, which makes sense why she. I don't know. I'm gonna read that. Why does it's getting a bit. Yeah, people are getting very edgy on this. You can read it yourself. But maybe I'll play the guy's one.
I think there was no
follow-up because I kept letting the man back into my space. How there's only so much that.
I guess at this point, she is lying. Men, there needs to be. Once we're teaching women how to stay away from abusive men, but women like this, you need to be very careful if this is what is happening. This kind of persona. They apparently she was very flirtatious in the show. They were allegedly saying of how she was networking in some of the conscious spaces, and the man who allowed her in was very on edge about this because she seems to be networking with not networking but sexually flaunting and allegedly, in order to get numbers and connects or whatever. But I don't know. This is what's been said.
They could do. I was I had a huge part to play in this, in the toxicity of it. I was in a very toxic, broken space.
So let's go back to the video, Victoria. In the video, firstly, who are you speaking to in that video?
So the person I was speaking to...
We've got his video next, so whenever you're ready, we'll play that. So if you want me to jump to that one, I'll jump to it, but we'll just listen to her describe it. But I've got his video on another platform.
I don't know... I didn't know his name was. I don't know his name. I don't know who the person was. It was a complete.
So what's happening is another thing. This woman has committed a crime, and she knows it's a crime, and she knows it's a lie, and people suspect she's lying, and she's met someone in a gym, and within a day or so of knowing this person in the gym, she tells the crime. This is up there with the kind of like rappers who go and commit murders and this kind of stuff, and they're fresh to rap about it the next day. Fresh to rap about it the next day. The bars, the lyrics, look at my face, look at my K, all that kind of stuff. They want you to know immediately. They want to put names and locations on recorded data and put it on the internet and hopefully hit 1 million views. This is like that. Like you meet someone and you're telling them a crime, like for what reason I don't know.
Stranger, like he said in the statement, he came up to me in the gym one day. He worked his charm, and somehow, got me to, whether it was coercion or charm, I don't know, but to really express myself and express the pain.
Did he tell you that he knew Denzel? Did he tell you that he knew him?
He told me that he knew him, and
Okay.
She told someone who said she knew him the crime she did.
He said, I think he said specifically, why would you do that? And I responded and I was like, he deserves it. I want to take him to the cleaners, was my exact word. I want to take him to, for all the suffering he put me through. It was a 7-minute video. It had.
When you take someone to the cleaners, I don't know the phrase. Is that you want them to lose all their money or something? Is it, you want to take their money? Am I wrong? I'm probably wrong. Let me know. I think I'm wrong. Was there a kind of, there wasn't a money claim, was it? I don't know.
Has been, edited to really make me seem, there's no justification, but it has been heavily edited.
You said that this video was made nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can't even believe somebody could hold on to a video that long, with the.
Once again, this is a clear lie, unfortunately, because she was clear to describe 5 years ago, and in the way she did her age, and now it's 10 years ago, and she's not correcting the host, so she's going with that.
Why is it being released now?
I don't know. I think you need to ask him that question.
Okay, so have you not had any interaction with him
None
prior
at all.
to him releasing the video?
None at all.
Okay.
However, there was an interaction with, and I said to you, there was 2 occasions, 2 really abusive relationships that I've experienced in my life. One of those was, over 8 years ago, the one that we just discussed. The second one was more recent. Several years ago, I met a guy.
So she's going to describe another. We won't listen to this, but this other guy, I think allegedly he lived with her again, or something like this, and. No, he lived with her, and she fell on hard times, and he wanted her to sign a contract, and she said that this is a scam that he does to get women's houses or something like this. But that means this happened after the court case, right? So when did this actually end? Because that means because in the abuse allegedly is in that as well. So and she, I think she then plays her screaming. Let me see. I think that might be next. I won't play the next one, but they play video of her screaming at the camera, at the doorbell camera when he's trying to get in the house. So I don't know why if you're gonna bring abusive videos to this platform to show that isn't connected to the guy you tried to send for attempted sexual assault, I think that must be you're trying to paint a picture. Because I think, let me just see if that, because I didn't hallucinate. Is it the second one? Hold on. It's this one. I just want to see if I'm
psychological effects that it had on you. How would you describe that?
Yeah, that's another thing. I guess I see why everyone's not displeased, because it really is like talking about how she feels and stuff, when actually the crime she is admitting she's doing is very heinous. The way you got to see it is if what she's doing is an equivalent of the crime she's trying to get done, because you're lying about such a heinous crime that you are now doing that crime in the sense of that's the only way you can rebound it. You're lying about a crime that didn't happen, but that crime is so severe and it's so punishable that through lying about it, you are now in the same realm of it. So the equivalent of this is men interviewing a man who is a sexual assaulter, and then they're like, tell me about your child, but they're not really addressing that. What you're doing is, what you've done is barbaric or whatever, and it's like, then you need to apologize, or you need to go to some kind of help, or you need to do something to show that you're not that person and that you want to make amends or something. But to the guy on this round, I can see why it might trigger some men, especially those who've been accused and falsely. I'm just going to see, yeah. So yeah, there it is. So I'm going to play it, but they start showing videos of her screaming outside her partner's house and him trying to break in allegedly, whatever. Right? I'm going to play it, but this has nothing to do with the thing. So this makes me think this is a ploy. Like, I don't know why. You got to think, if I'm accused of sexually assaulting a woman, why do I then bring a video of another woman being abusive to me? Or a video of another woman who I'm intimate with? Right? It's like, that's a lot. If I'm intimate, it doesn't add up unless I'm trying to paint some kind of picture. And I don't think you can. So hence why I guess nobody's for, like, literally nobody. Now I assume she makes all her money on the internet. I don't know if her followers care or not care, but that is saying. What we're gonna do, we got time. Time goes fly. We'll play the gentleman's response. The guy did it. And if anyone wants to come in and speak, by all means, come in. We will end on time or before time. But this is your time. We're just analyzing footage. And, we're analyzing because ultimately our goal is we want to be able to recognize this, offer healing and stuff to people. But generally, you want to protect yourself from either abusive men or women with this kind of like behavioral pattern. And being able to see it, well, you'll be able to see certain patterns in certain people. I have witnessed this kind of behavior before. Even the behavior of what she does before she did all this, and how she's entered the women who've had a very troubled life and they haven't actually fully addressed their troubled life, but they want to come into the conscious community as people who they've gone through the healing and they're in a better space, but they haven't actually dealt with it yet. Because if she did, she wouldn't approach from like this. Seems to be someone's trying to cover past challenges and crimes. It's a bit both. She's trying to cover it without actually acknowledging it or fully repenting for it or correcting it, or just doing what most reformed people do. Because a lot of the people in the conscious community of the past, they were ex-drug dealers, drug addicts, prostitutes, whatever, and they go, "That's what I was led astray, but I've found a better way of doing it, and I'm dedicated to this, and I want to make sure no one goes through what I went through. And everyone I've harmed, I have to live to try to correct." That's usually what you would kind of do. That's being conscious, right? Like, you can admit that you did bad in a bad time, but you want to live to correct all the bad you've done rather than try to justify it. I guess that's a good word. I think she's trying to justify. She's trying to justify, here's why I did this crime against this man. But once again, if you reverse the roles and a man says, here's why I did this crime against this woman, you'll be like, wait, what the hell are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? It's a very big. But let's go to the response from the gentleman. Let's see if we can find him. Oh, here we go. No, it's not that one. It's this one. If you haven't seen it, this is his response.
Talking out with Gucci.
Yes.
So let me skip through this. There we go. Here's the gentleman. Okay.
It'd be good to have female.
That was one of the reasons why, yes.
So do you know the subject?
I do know the subject.
Ah, great.
But I will listen though. I might not say much.
Too much.
But that doesn't mean you. Anyway, you.
But anyway,
Yeah.
let's get into it now.
Uh-huh.
You put out a shout yesterday saying you needed a platform to be able to speak on.
Yes.
People then were saying winners.
Yeah.
The team see it, they hit you up, and we got it done. That's how. Hello, nice to meet you in the background.
This is Sharla.
Hello, Sharla.
Locks by Sharla. Fix me up.
Come on, locks by Sharla.
Fix
We're promoting.
We'll talk later still, Carl. Trying to get my little glow on. You get me?
Yeah.
Say
So
no more.
we're here. Your name's been calling because of a viral moment now with a false accusation
Yeah.
that you filmed.
Yeah.
let's go through it then. Let's talk from the beginning with the lady Victoria.
Yeah.
Let's talk from the beginning because obviously she's done an interview yesterday.
Big, yeah, part one and all them things there.
Part one. I saw that. I didn't realize it was a part one until the end. I saw
40 minutes of it is part one.
Yeah,
So she's, platform they gave us big.
Yes. So let's talk now from your perspective. Let's hear so where does this begin for you? As far as you and her interact, where does it begin? What made you engage with her and start this conversation off?
Bro, I heard what she was doing, and being me, I just had to try and help. It was really just that. It was just a successful mission. I've got to thank God it was a successful operation. I don't know her from Adam before that, and I knew her for about at most 4 days.
Yeah.
Where did you hear what she'd done from? What she was doing from?
So the guy that she was doing it to, you know, I can say I was never gonna say his name because
she's saying his name.
She said his name now, so I can put it. Denzel.
Yeah.
He's actually my cousin's brother.
Right.
So when I've heard what's going on and where the woman is, I knew, okay, we can make it work.
Yeah.
If I can try a thing. So it's only a try. And I'll say by the grace of God it worked. You get me? The operation, how I got the confession and all of that.
Yeah.
And the phone was in my hand as I'm chatting to her. But you know, like, you see that? See, like if I walked into a room and my phone's in my hand like this.
Yeah.
You're not thinking, is it filming?
Yeah.
So I already kind of, from the Wednesday, I knew the next time I see her, when I walk up to her, my phone's gonna be in my hand already.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah.
So the whole time as I'm chatting to her, the phone's doing this, I'm doing that, making sure I'm getting her name in it,
Yeah.
getting his full name in it. His name, I can say his name now, but the reason why the video is cropped, I didn't want the part with his name out there, like his name's Denzel. You get it? So
all right, let's go back and try to get a bit chronological order. Like, so how did you know where to find her?
She's Enfield, she's bait.
Right.
She's bait. If you're from North London, she's bait.
Yeah. And where was he? The gym?
David Lloyd's, yeah. Well, it's like I'm promoting them, but yeah.
All right.
They better run me some stuff.
So she was in the gym.
Yeah.
So when you recorded, how many times had you spoken to her before the recording?
2 times.
Okay.
So when I say I had to work charm, I had to work charm.
Yeah. So she got that comfortable after 2 conversations.
I had to put in work.
Yeah.
But really and truly, I keep saying, really the way the mission.
So like this guy's saying, like, he met this woman and after 2 conversations, she's confessing crimes to a person that he has said he knows.
Was successful. She said it herself. She barely knew me.
Yeah.
She said it herself. So it's not like I'm saying something she hasn't said.
Yeah.
And the way the mission worked successfully, it's like the universe said, you know what? This woman has to be stopped.
Yeah.
Because a man would have been all now sitting in jail. 2 months of his minimum toll.
So
how long ago did you film this video? Because she said it's 8 to 10 years old. How long ago did you film the video?
I was gonna try and exclusive this one for someone, man, but
that's what I noticed. I thought afterwards, maybe it's just his personality, right? But this brother who's revealed that, obviously he's done a good thing if he's still correct. But when he says something like, "Oh, I was going to try exclusive," it's now going from an actual, this is a crime that, you know, to like it's now content, and that's not, if you really unpack that especially the nature of the crime. Can you imagine if this crime was a man who was doing this to women and getting away with it, and then a woman filmed him that he's admitted he's done this crime of sexual assault, and then someone's asking her, and she said, "Oh, I wanted to exclusive this for someone else." Like, well, actually, this is now like a public announcement, right? It's like trying to protect people from this behavior. It's not really like a content-based thing. Could be wrong. Maybe this is the world we live in. But I'm just saying.
This is the spot.
This is the spot.
I should exclusive this question for someone, but it's all right. So, in the video, she's 31, just about to turn 32.
Yeah.
And I say to her, Victoria, don't go past age 31 doing this stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Right now, I think she's 36, 37.
Right. So it's
basic maths, primary school maths tells all of us it's maximum 5, 6 years old. Maximum. She's pushing some 10-year agenda.
Yeah.
Why is it only coming out now though after 5 to 6 years?
Exclusives, you're killing it, man.
Let's get to it. You're here, bro. Why is it 5 to 6 years?
What? Why is it only coming up now? All right. So again, Denzel, the guy I done the video for, I didn't get it at the time. Like he said, do not put, because I was like, bro, this has to go out.
Yeah.
Them times she still had numbers. I think like 100K or something. Like she's always kind of been bait anyway.
Yeah.
He said, no, don't put the video. And I first I'm thinking, you still want to hit it or something? Like,
Yeah,
bro,
what's
you're
going
right.
on? Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Like he's protecting her kind
I
of thing.
didn't get it, but now I get it. Innocent or not, he just didn't want his name and that type of allegation being news out there.
I get that.
Because it starts with, hey, you know, like, Denzel had a fake charge on him. Then by the third person is like, yo, I'm hearing Denzel done a by the next it's just that allegation. Sorry. He didn't want his name and that allegation in conversation.
Yeah.
Do you get it? And also he's a football coach, works with children.
Yeah.
Innocent or not, that kind of talk
mad.
there.
It's mad.
My parents might say now, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't get it at the time.
Yeah.
When he said, don't release the video, cool. I got it later on. And then I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I said, no, let me crop out because too much has been happening. Too much has been done. And a lot of men are just being sent down for things they ain't done. And so 2 weeks ago, I said, I'm going to put out the video, but I'm going to cut it so that the bit where his name is in it is not in the video.
Yeah.
And that's where she's running with the things heavily edited. No, it's cropped. If anything, I've saved her because some of the parts that the internet didn't hear is mad.
Yeah. Are you going to release the other parts?
Oh, it's mad. There's names, there's people.
So
when you say that, so there's names, so there's more than one guy. Like,
yeah, she's talking certain things and this and that with man in North as well that I respect, man. I don't.
So allegedly, what he's saying is this is a behavioural plan that she's done on more widespread. Now, one would assume these are men that she's been with, because unless you're just lying about men you haven't been, which we all.
I want to bring man's list. So
No,
I'm only all I did was crop it.
You don't have to put out everything. Who's Jason?
Let me ask you that.
I don't know. I didn't.
Does anyone in this room know who Jason is? That you see? Let me tell you, which camera is looking at me? Whichever camera. You see that, Victoria? Make sure you stop this coconut selling thing and go into script writing, because she's cold with the script writing and how quickly she came up with that storyline of Jason. Tried to, because I watched it and there was not, and I thought to myself, why did she even make up a new character called Jason? I didn't understand that part. That's later on. She's connected the dots. She couldn't lie and say that I tried to blackmail her with it. I already gave the video to feds. 5 years ago to get a man off the case. I can't now come and blackmail you with it. So she thought, I can't lie that way. She said someone called Jason, another partner, who was also abusive, who she actually.
For those watching now, we're dealing with the topic of false education against men, part 2. We discuss why false education is bad for men and makes truthful claims hard to prove. And we're looking at the Victoria incident. Then we're just getting more content on what's allegedly happened. And it seems by what this gentleman is saying, this is something that she does. You have to be very aware. If that's the case, you have to be very aware of this, because now there's women, and this is why, trying to stop it and letting the authorities know if that's the case, because once again, they will go to repeat this kind of behavior plan if this is what's actually been happening.
Did send to jail. So I think what she's trying to do is she has sent a man to jail and she's thinking he also might come out and talk things. Let me just.
So what he's saying is there's someone in the past who she might have done this before and he's actually in jail. So he's alleged. And this is not problematic that one man has come out for it. Maybe if this is true, maybe she uses this kind of thing as a weapon, but then this should all be on record, surely.
Collaborate everything in one.
Great work on getting the tape, though. Great work. Great work. You saved the man's life there. You saved the man's life.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you as well, because so just so there's clarity, so he was banged up like he was on remand or something for this.
He wasn't on remand. He got nicked in the yard.
Yeah, he got nicked in the yard, but he got bail, let's say. He was going to trial with it.
He wasn't gonna bust it.
He was not. So this basically you giving them the tape, bust the case for him.
He made sure the case. There's nothing more.
Another thing I wanted to clarify as well is that she said, I think I see a clip because I watched the thing, but she said I see a clip where she was saying that she got arrested. She got arrested and charged, and she got probation. Was that for the false allegation?
Yeah, but I think that's cap, because in the video when she's talking to me one-on-one, she said, I lined it up perfectly. I got him arrested in my house.
Yeah.
The way I played it, I played my chess move, all of that. Later on in the video she's done recently, she's saying my man never got nicked at all.
Yeah.
You can't. She even said 19 times she called the police about the same guy and they never helped. You're not calling the police 19 times about being in a relationship where you're being domestically abused, sexually abused, and they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's her stories that are just not really.
What do you know of her relationship with your brethren, Denzel?
He's my cousin's brethren.
Your cousin's brethren.
Yeah.
Why do you think she went at him like this?
She broke it down. We've all seen the video. She broke it down. You ain't seen part 2 of the video. I think that's what it is.
Oh, part 2's out.
Yeah. So part 2, she goes into detail when she's talking to me in the gym. She goes into detail and she basically just said, "Look, I ruined men's lives. I couldn't ruin his." Yeah, she basically put it down. It's like a sick game.
For fun, for games.
It's like a sick game. It's like a sick game, really. She.
What made her decide to confess all this to you, though? What? Just.
Was she bragging?
Man being that.
Was it a bragging thing, or was it a thing like she saw you like?
It's half and half, innit?
Yeah.
How did you have to?
I was honest in my caption. I said, "Yo, I had to work some charm,"
Yeah.
and then she was also trying to brag and I can do this and that, and it's alright, cool, innit? But I still break it down to that it's the grace of God. Car all now it's like she didn't have to confess to that level.
Yeah, because that's what she fully
she was going in still.
Yeah.
And that's what at first she tried to say it's AI.
Yeah.
At first she tried to say, and then the other day she said, "No, my team said it was AI. It wasn't me." And she's saying, "Look, it is me. Yeah, I did say all of that." And then what did she say in the video? She said she can't even believe that she said all them things to me.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep saying it's the grace of God.
You forget. You know, when you say certain things, your mind forgets.
Nah,
and
you know what?
You said, you get me?
For you to brazenly open up, the whole video is about 7 to 9 minutes long. For you to brazenly open up and confess the things that she was confessing, it's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad still.
Yeah.
Was he cool with you putting out the video now? Because his name's out there now as well, but obviously
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't ask him.
You didn't
I'm
ask
gonna be
him?
dead honest, yeah, I did.
So what made you decide you want to put it out?
It's a bit odd behavior to release it. And that makes you think maybe this, as good as what he might have done or not done, this person might be of modern day times where he's actually about social media, clicks and controversy. I could be wrong, but the way he's communicating this, he might be. Not that what he's done is wrong, but that might be the stronger motivation.
Now then, just
that's what I'm saying. Too many things have been happening now, but you see what it is? I was really trying to raise awareness. I'm going to be honest and say it straight. I didn't even put out the video to attack her as such. It was really to show like, yo, some of the allegations aren't always true. Men are going through. Listen, we all know Merkston went jail for this same allegation he didn't do.
Yeah.
This was at the peak. Merkston was going.
Yeah.
Channel U days.
Yeah.
You were badding up the rap thing. He was badding up the grime thing. He was going.
Yeah.
A gal pulled fake charge on Merkston. I'm a fan of Merkston. We all know this. This is public. I'm only saying this because it's public knowledge. So like I'm trying to hot him up. This is public. It's out in the public domain. Like a rapper that went jail for an R that he didn't do.
Yeah.
Get me? People will tell you that people who have done time in jail will tell you, bro, there's man on the wing doing R's that they did.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you
understand?
And the thing is, it's a dark time. And I feel like what you did in exposing the video, and I think even Zizi spoke on it. I see Zizi spoke on it as well today. Where she was basically, I don't feel like she was blaming the guys, but she was also just saying that the guys need to be careful about who you, but also at the same time, it does feel like it's pushing away the responsibility of what my girl did. Do you get what I'm saying?
A bit peak,
but it's true what man's saying. It's dark times. There's mad gal out there. You have to be careful with who you lay down with and what you do. Do you get what I'm saying?
I see Zizi's thing. Zizi said you can just look at her and tell. I mean,
but man, them don't think like
that. Man, them don't think like that.
Man, them don't think like that. But she drop a little weight, certain man there, you know what I mean? She's all
to be honest,
certain man want to lose weight and talk about they want to get rid of parasites and them thing and want to sit down and chat and want coconut water and that. You get me? Two man's wrapped up. You don't even care. She got red flags and that.
We're ending in a bit, but let me know your views on this. We're just analysing this stuff. We're just, kind of social media heavy in this one, just listening to whatever. But the what we're actually analysing is more obviously severe in the sense of women who lie on men. First, men who abuse women, that we've covered that, and how to protect yourself from that. You will have agreements with the man that if you attack me at any point, I'm going to leave. You have a connection with his family, and agree with him that you want to have a protection. That if something was to go wrong, you can contact your family, her family about it. And you definitely don't want to take abuse back to back and keep that in. If he is abusing you, he should be seeking guidance, and that you should leave him, but that should be a part of the kind of like equation that you have to go and get help. You can't keep running away from it. And then obviously we moved on to women who lie about that. That's what we've done here, and we're just the part 2 of last week's show where we're seeing the drama unfold of how this gentleman got this lady to confess her crimes against his friend, but also potentially something she does as a vindictive way to get men back, potentially, I guess, because of the abuse that her alleged stepdad gave to her mum and some other criminal men that she was in the same gang with, and this kind of stuff.
Bro, see what it
still
is?
gonna be onto her now.
Yeah, it's man.
She has sent other men to jail though. This
is mental.
But she sent multiple men to jail.
Yeah, but you know.
Now, if that is the case, if I haven't heard the other, maybe I should try to get the same thing. If she has spent her life sending men to jail, then that will justify why he's just going to release this and he doesn't care about a friend's opinion with, because if there's a person, I guess once again this would be the equivalent of a man who successfully sexually assaulting women as a serial, and he's just bragging about it, and he's just the police don't know, so you would expect a woman to just, and that's why you shouldn't treat these things like content, like secrets and exclusive. It's like, no, this is a major crime. And that's what the best thing those do is just reverse it, as in, rather than false accusations, imagine it's someone doing the act. You won't talk that way. So you got to really take this stuff really serious.
Hold
on. What, that's facts.
Facts.
With the same allegations?
More or less
but
the same.
But cases get thrown out now because
this is where we're
on the back of this.
This is what we're all kind of waiting on now. Like, do you know what I mean? Are people now going to say, look, hit up their lawyers and say, look, see, based on this, get my case reopened or whatever.
Yeah,
you get me?
Yeah,
and I think that's where she come with the Jason story, because there's a man that did 7. This is public.
Here's the thing: if that is true, this is interesting, because when she did the interview, she was very particular about mentioning abuse she's gone through by that alleged gentleman, whatever. And she's mentioned all these other issues, but she at no point has mentioned, if this is true, that she was in a physical relationship with other men who because they did this to her, she rang the police and they were arrested. Because that would actually justify, she has, even on her side, be like, well, she knows how it is to be there, and she's witnessed it again, and she's trying to stop her saying, but she didn't mention that at all. So if there is this, then that works very badly against her. And this might be the beginning of this might be the first of that new wave of her time is up and believe men and me too men version. I don't know how you put it, men version. It might be that. Where it's like, and that would be it'll be good for innocent men. Done. What it'll be bad for women who actually will tell the truth, and now there's a campaign to really assess that. But that won't matter if you actually are getting innocent men out. But there obviously men are not getting innocent, and you're giving them more fuel for fire, whatever.
News: a man did 7 months on remand. He's out of jail now.
Yeah.
And then she's saying, Ross, because she's saying the Denzel guy was abusive towards her. And then I've come along and wrecked her plan to falsely send him to jail for cool. Yeah. Then after that, she's saying that her next relationship was with someone else who was abusive towards her too. It's like every man's abusive towards her. And then him now, she was able to get him to get put in jail.
Yeah.
But he's out now.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's tried to blackmail her for 10 quid. And she said, nah, put the video out. So if you said nah, you don't want to pay it, put the video out. Why do you say it was AI? Why did you?
Yeah, that's true. I don't think about that. If you're saying he's blackmailing you, why are you saying it's AI? You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. And is that the behavior pattern of a person who wants 10 grand for what? Oh, I guess he's trying, but then that would be odd, because then if you were falsely accused and got away with it, you wouldn't want 10 grand. You would want to expose that to stop her from doing it. Well, maybe you would assume so. I could be wrong.
And I feel like what people are not like taking into account is that I think the video is actually really damaging and it's scary. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people are like, dancing around it. Certain platforms you see, like even
Yeah.
I think I commented on something with Shaybra today where it's like, you know what I mean, like sets the
Yeah.
record straight.
Fam, I'm quite tired. I'm gonna go bed soon. But let me know if you want to continue. We're not gonna watch all this, but a few more seconds and I'll do a roundup. But let me know if you want to speak or anything or any questions. You've got 10 more minutes. If you want to jump in, it's your show. You can do what you want. But I'll do a quick roundup after a few minutes and then we'll call it a day.
Straight or something, and even I think I commented on it. I was like,
Yeah,
set the
yeah.
record straight. There's nothing to set straight. Like really, what you've done is
It's
there for everyone to see.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
And you know what is it? Aside from the guys as well, it takes away from the
women
real
now.
women that go through
Yeah.
the real issue happens to them.
It's sad.
You see what I'm saying?
It's victims on both sides. Like the men that are getting these false allegations, I feel people think because it's men deal with shit. People don't understand.
No, it's damaging, man.
How damaging and hurtful that is to the guys that incur that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like even like your guy Denzel, like you say, he's probably wanting to just go about his life quietly, and now this is all blown up again 6-7 years later, where now he's gonna have to ask questions, deal with this, and that fact that she's still saying that man was abusive and that man was this is gonna be question marks in amongst his circle and people as to whether is she chatting truth or is she not chatting truth. Do you get what I mean?
I hear it.
Like it's dangerous. Do you get what I mean?
It's very dangerous.
Have you bumped into her, seen her, bucked her, spoken to her at any time since?
Do you know
what did she say to you? Like, go on, answer that first and I'll ask you the next question.
I don't want to draw people up. You know, it's mad because everyone that I can draw out into, they're all saying, leave me out of it just because they don't even want to entertain it like that. But so I can't even. But all right, cool. I can't bring no one's name in.
No, don't say no one's name. You can just give her like a general, like without saying the name, what it is. Do you get what I'm saying?
At the time, she had another boyfriend who found out the situation. He's got out of the situation. He's hitting me up. Me and him are cool now. Like from them time that he's like, bro, that could have been me next.
Yeah.
And I hit him up and I said, bro, like, do you want to come forward? And he said, bro, she's probably feeding off all of this anyway.
Yeah.
Even though there's holes in her story and everyone's calling her a lie, he's saying she's probably even feeding off this energy anyway, kind of thing. So he didn't want to entertain. I'm like, bro, this is kind of where we're at now, man. So, but to answer your question,
what's interesting is no one. And this is what I'm saying. This is connected to a lot of musicians and actors and stuff like that in the past, who were executives and stuff. And some of them just gone through a big court now. And this is important of like, you know, how you conduct yourself with people. Usually, you know, if allegations come forward and stuff, you usually get a plethora of people who will come forward and vouch and say, no, I don't know what happened there, but my experience with this person is the opposite of that. But with this sister, this is not happening, not at all. And this like a lot of the famous kind of executives who were known for being angry and screaming in hip hop and acting and all that. When their time came, no one was backing them neither. And that's what I'm saying. It shows that as much money as popular you might get, if you're not liked, when things go down, you really, really alone. And I suspect that could be this, but I could be wrong.
this thing happened 5 years ago. It could not have been, because it was before the lockdown started. So then I bumped into her one time. But Denzel had already said to me, bro, this thing that you've done, if she ever sees you on road, she's gonna run her car like he said, bro, she's gonna go for you.
Yeah.
But I see her it's in the venue. It's inside a bar. I see her and she's looked at me and I've looked at her and I've looked away. But she actually tried to say something to me that she said something like, you've been going gym. Like, it's actually trying to be mocking the situation.
Yeah, trying to lure man in.
Yeah, she said, you've been going gym. I didn't entertain it. And that's the only time I've seen her from that time to that's the only time.
When she said, who did she contact and say, can you take the video down or something like that was said? Like she was like,
oh, that was the blog page.
Oh, the blog page.
No, I see it. I actually saw the video. So basically, there's a gym guy. There's a guy, not a gym guy, but he's a guy that basically exposes American guy.
I know who you're talking about. The one with the glasses.
Yeah, and he exposes people. So he, obviously, his platform's massive, isn't it? So he put the video out, he's exposed her. Now, differently for that, she don't mind maybe a little Shea Bar, or even though Shea Bar's got like 1 million. Shea Bar's big, but she might not mind like the smaller blogs. But when this guy, it's like his reach is far and wide bigger than the scene, innit? So I feel like if it was just like certain pages that just deal to the culture, it might slide. But this brother's thing is worldwide, innit? So that's why I feel like she got at him.
To take down the video and he mocked it.
What was the, if you can remember, were the police immediately like, was it quick? How quick was the response?
Yeah, because I remember, do you know how mad it was? I remember, yeah, got my cousin to get hold of my man. He said, bro, I got a video. It's gonna bust. You get me?
Are you the
Then
bigger cousin? Older cousin?
yeah, it's my
Yeah,
little
yeah. So
cousin.
you,
really.
that's what I get it now,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm just trying to work out what would make you say, you know what, let me just deal with this
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a bit too much. So
Nah, let me be honest
Nah,
with
rate
you.
it.
go
Let me
on.
be honest with you. If you're a stranger to me. If I heard he's going through something like that and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could possibly help, I'm helping.
I respect that.
Yeah, it was,
I
it was
respect
it was even nothing to do with the fact that it's my
Yeah,
cousin.
yeah.
If I can help something like that, I can't sit back.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, we all witnessed and saw Merckx then go do time in jail for something he didn't do.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like you can hate someone, you can want to.
All right, Raymond, what are your thoughts on the No Clark situation? No Clark. Is that the brother? Is that the guy who was? No, wait, no. No Clark's the guy who was attacked, right? Who was shot in the neck. No, this. So my memories, because it's late and I want to sleep. My mind's going blank. But no Clark. Oh no, sorry, I'm an idiot. That's Charlie Clark. No Clark is the director. We covered him before. Sorry about that. No. Yeah. So I'll quickly. So those are the No Clark was a director. He did some of the kind of UK films. The UK films. Like kind of like street comedy, kind of urban stuff. Whatever. And he was quite successful. He was given the budget, but he fell out with one of the co-owners or co-actors, whatever it is, and then someone came through saying he was quite forceful and sexually provocative or whatever in his things, and he was cancelled, and people didn't associate with him. I think it's coming up now that he might have been innocent of a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think a lot. Well, we covered it because we're aware of him because I think he might have even been. I think did we have him on here? I don't think because we had him on. We had him on our chart of direct. I wonder if I had him. Let me just check if I've got him on our directors. We would have came across him because we were looking at media stuff of rich black men in different media, and like who rich black men marry, and I think he's a director, and in the UK, so I think I would have done the UK one. My memory's not as good as it once was. Let me see if I got a lot of pages in this book here, a lot of pages. So he must have came up on that, and that's why then his case came up. Let's see if I can find him, family. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff in it. Okay, here we go. Let's see. This is we're just looking at patterns of black men behavior, and that's the politician one. This is the football one. Did we not have a director one? Okay, yeah. So is he in here? Yeah, there he is. Aha, he's there. I thought so. Yeah, because it's this pattern, isn't it? So we're just showing that black men, when they become rich and famous, they tend to not marry black women, and more particularly European daughters of European men. And but the irony, just like the whole Michael Jackson thing, it's usually that close interaction with Europeans and non-black women that ends up getting them cancelled. And obviously, what happens is the white men who own these institutions, they're quick to shut them down. They won't. There's no second chance. And then even after they've been proven innocent, allegedly, whatever, it doesn't matter. They won't be able to climb back. So it's quite. We did it as a case study. You say 3 million? Was he? Did he made 3 million? Or was charged 3 million? So he lost the case in that. Oh, he lost the case and I has to pay to the guard. So when they say he lost the case, that means he tried to sue the Guardian, or he's actually guilty. Right. Well, that's what he tried to sue the Guardian for. Maybe we'll cover it next week. I didn't know about it, but the reason we know about him is because he was on the database for the research of. I was looking at every single British director who's black, and I was finding out how many of them actually marry white women. Black women. But none of them. And but there was one a famous guy called Idris Elba. Don't know if you heard of him. He's been married, unfortunately, 3 times, 2 black women. So I guess that's good or bad in the sense of he's had divorces, but generally, or maybe it's 2 times. I can't remember. My memory's not as good as it once was. And then we look at the patterns of the football players. This is the same pattern, and then the politicians, and then people on adverts and stuff like that. Now, there's definitely a pattern in the UK, or just in the world in general. Hence why we press Black women to show that members of that community should love each other and try to marry each other. That's another topic, really. That's how we actually improve That's how you have generational wealth, blah, 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 blah. But I might be the only black man in the UK talking about this because maybe it's not important. Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, that we've hit the 2 hour mark. This show is your show. However you want to do, we can do it. Maybe if you want, we can cover the if it's a recent case, I will cover the brother who lost. Cover the brother who'll flow there. We'll cover the brother who lost the to the Guardian. They didn't pardon him. So yeah, because of that, we might cover next week. If it's there. There's definitely a big salacious topic to cover. I also want to cover some amazing stories as well, like the Ghana thing. So maybe we'll cover that as well. But yeah. So to conclude this, I know it's easier said than done, but if your husband or your boyfriend beats you, you should leave him. Potentially, this is what it should really be. How you can help is have that discussion before you on your first date, beforehand, so you're both aware that once abuse happens, you're gone. Also, you want to watch the energy you have. If you're constantly swearing, constantly angry, constantly fighting, and you're on the internet fist fighting and fisticuffs, that might be the energy you pick up. So, in all areas of activity, that means when it comes to finding your lover, he might match your energy. So you want to make sure you don't do that. And also, if a woman has this history of being, very problematic, you definitely know there. We saw a sister who allegedly has serial got men allegedly thrown in jail for false accusations. Her behavioral pattern, if she can speak that freely to a man she's met within a day about her consistent crimes against men, that means she has to give off the energy of someone that can do that. And you shouldn't be enamored by the charm that a woman presents, but you should be deeply trying to find out, is this person safe? Anyway, we're going to go there, family. If there's any questions, let us know, but we're going to go. So for those who practice Black Betterment, know they're important. And for those who don't, know you're loved. Until next week, everyone, Black Betterment to all and to all Black Betterment. I've been a fantastic weekend and week beginning next. But until then, Black Betterment, goodbye, 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 goodbye.